Ba 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 ba. Dun, dun, dun,
Feedback
Matt
Friday.
Helbig. We're gonna go over some stuff from IDEO today, which Matt Helbig thought was a little dangerous for me to be criticizing somebody from IDEO.
Who watches The Watchmen or something? I'm not sure.
Right. We'll get into it, and actually they've done a really good job on a lot of things here. So this is one of those areas where it's interesting. I'll be curious to see what people say this week. I got this email because I follow IDEO and I like what they do. I'm very interested in them, and the brand on this stuff. Gorgeous, fantastic typography, using a little sentinel in that title. I'm not exactly sure what the heading is, but nice grotesque font. So just love what they do, and nice illustrations, leads in just great. But here it comes.
Uh-oh.
This is IDEO. This is so generic, man. I feel like Big Lebowski here.
People say this conversational tone newsletter is super successful, though. So
Really?
I guess. I mean, I think there are some points, but this is just like the standard MailChimp template that you see every other brand do. So I think it's an opportunity for them to maybe flex a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess for me, it's not so much the fact that, like we've got a bunch of text here and you've got to be pretty committed to be willing to read all this, which, okay, maybe they are, and they might test it. But here's the thing for me is I'm going to step out on a limb here. I'm going to take, my hypothesis is this, that IDEO is doing some amazing things from superpowers to great teams in their class, and their classes in general are probably off the hook. And then they're like, oh, what are we going to do about emails? I don't know. Let's just, pull it together. Let's do some decent content, and then we'll pop it into MailChimp. And I get that. Email often gets sidelined, and it's the last thing to be thought about. That's what this kind of feels like to me. I hope I'm not criticizing too hard. But the point for me is this. Could you animate something up here? Like, that could be amazing. What if you led with some hero copy in the first little bit to draw me in, rather than starting right away with body copy? Think about it a little bit more like a newspaper article or something that tells me what to expect. What am I going to get out of this email? This is an intro here. Yeah, I think for me, it's like, give me something to draw me through it. Like, this is a ton of text for email. Now, is it a ton of text if I'm sitting down to read a book? No, not at all. Tiny. But I'm not reading a book. I'm like, email to me is like sitting in line at the grocery store. You're like there for one reason at that point, to get through the line. And email has so much utility quality of that, especially with mobile. Realistically, Matt, we should probably be looking at this in a mobile view, and all of these in a mobile view. Like, we're probably being bad web people right now. It just doesn't line up for me. Now, here's another thing. I don't tell anybody, but I'm colorblind. As a designer,
What?
It's like, yeah, I know that's awful and crazy in the sense of but I think it's actually, speaking of superpowers, it's kind of a superpower. Because for me, I'm always being able to say, I can barely see that this is a link. Barely. And I'm colorblind. And so I know that it's not sticking out for me. If you give yourself just a little squint in your eyes, that link disappears. It's stuff like that. It's a little thing, but this is IDEO. I kind of think of IDEO a little bit like Apple. They think of everything. And so I'm holding this email to a super high standard because it's IDEO. So that was one thing. I do like this signature. I've seen people do this. I've done it myself.
It's a nice touch.
I like it a lot. I think they could take it further. I think I kind of want to see a picture of Keith, maybe, or a drawing of Keith, to match with this aesthetic. Could be pretty cool. Right?
How unmotivated are you with that share this new course link? I feel like I've never been less motivated to click on to share something with my friends.
Yeah, and
such a bummer link.
One, I didn't even know it was a link until you said that. But here's the other thing. This is something I've learned in my product experience. When you're asking somebody to share something or to do anything for you, you should always make sure you're giving them more than you're asking from them. So all you're trying to do here is just say, hey, share this thing we did. Why? Have you given me enough information so that I feel like I'm doing something good? Can you hey, 10% off for your friends and colleagues. That's one way to do it, like a financial incentive. Another one is to say, share this incredible knowledge with your friends and colleagues, whatever that is. So you're saying, hey, give your friends something that you've learned. Or, in other words, instead of just saying, share this thing, it's nice to at least make it clear you can share, and maybe putting like a share icon or something like that would warm this up a little bit. Give somebody an incentive for what they're about to do. And even in the CTA, get started is fine. But what about like get learning or learn how to make incredible teams now? Like that's a little too long, but you get what I'm saying. It's get me excited about what I'm about to do, not just get started. All right, I'm done. My rants are done.
Click on that get started CTA. I just want you to like look at the landing page because I feel like there's a lot of content that they do have to use in an email to really sell this course to people. I mean, they have like that video thumbnail they could include in the top header. They have, I think, better colors on that CTA.
This would have been great in that email.
Yeah.
These pieces of iconography. Yeah, interesting. There's some fantastic stuff in here. This could have been wonderful. Or a video. Shit, man, they could have put a video.
That's what I'm saying. So I think it's like this is such a good landing page, but people will never even get to this landing page because they've been hit with this.
Look at that handsome guy.
Look at that. Is that Keith?
Oh, I hope that's Keith.
That's Keith.
They could have put a picture. Oh my God.
They had Keith
on. What are you doing, man? I'm
man.
so sad. We would have never known what Keith looked like, man.
Exactly. We got to put him in the email.
Oh, Keith.
That's what I'm saying. They had so much good content, so they don't have that excuse that there wasn't enough to put this in there.
You're so right. The other thing is looking at this, all this typography is available in the email. They could have put that in the email. Again, this is me calling out IDEO because I know they can do this. Now, they at least use, I'm guessing this is probably Georgia. They at least here have used body copy from a standard system font that is appropriate instead of using like sans serif or something like that. And that's, at least they've made that, choice. But these are, web fonts are totally available and it's something that we can all do. But again, it does take time. Time is money, right? So I get it. I think they could have gone a little further.
This is probably not their only course they're trying to sell. So if they could make a series of templates or something like that, they could reuse again. And these are e-commerce, this is an e-commerce email technically trying to get you to buy a course that's, $200. So I think they could sell it just a little bit better and get people a little bit more engaged.
All right. Well, this has been a good one. Again, probably, I would guess this is performing reasonably well. Had we been able to include these icons here and our friend Keith, that would have been freaking amazing. Keith, we missed you, buddy.
Yeah, even test this more conversational newsletter sort of letter versus maybe a more promotional, flashy email. I think that would be an interesting thing to look at and see, if they can really drive even, 10, 20% more conversions with a redesigned email. I think it's definitely worth it.
All right. Well, dude, this has been a good one. Lots of fun, lots of humor.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.